Everyone in EMS is trying to get on the best service or department, whether it's equipment or crews or schedules. Becoming a volunteer EMT, the networking that you will do can be huge for you with your career. So becoming a volunteer EMT, you have all of the volunteers in your service. Many of them will already be paid EMS. They may be at the department that you're trying to work at, and now you're working alongside them in the same ambulance. There's number one. Number two, now you have an ambulance to call your own, right? So with that ambulance, you're able to go network with, after you drop your patient off at the hospitals. Maybe the department you're trying to work at, there's EMTs and medics there. They're in the break room. You're outside the ambulances. You're talking. The network, that's the number one thing of the benefit of volunteer EMT. Let's say you just passed your NREMT. You're brand new. You have no experience. Depending on where you are, you may not have a job available right when you first start. In many areas right now, yes, I know that there's a shortage and people are dying to get EMTs and medics in the ambulance. But in some areas, that may not be so. Becoming a volunteer EMT, it gets your foot in the door to start getting experience and differentiate yourself from other people just waiting in the wings for a job. You can get that driving and what we call teching, which is patient care experience in the back of the ambulance, through the volunteer service. So you actually do have some experience when you're sitting there and you're ready to work for that new service. Before I made this video, I was so surprised that no one else has really talked about this. There are some volunteer ambulance services that actually have grants available to you. Meaning, if you sign a contract with them in the volunteer service to fill a certain amount of shifts or work for them at the volunteer service for a certain amount of years, they can pay for your tuition for EMT school. And sometimes even other levels, depending on, I've seen volunteer ALS providers before. It is possible, right? But traditionally, usually it's EMT and volunteer EMS, right? So check that out. They may have grants available and you're gonna have free EMT school. It's not a rule, but majority of volunteer ambulance services are in rural or suburban areas. Usually the closer we get into the city, there's more paid providers. It's not, again, not a rule, but usually if we take about the average city, usually a paid EMS could be hospital-based, could be like a government service, could be a private ambulance service, right? Could be a fire department service, EMS, but usually it's paid. But you have out in rural areas that relies on volunteer EMS. What that means is you're gonna get a hell of an experience working in a volunteer EMS agency. I remember when I first started, I drove 45 minutes from where I lived just to become a volunteer EMT. Now, I've had students that get an EMS just for the community alone. Just for the community alone. So imagine a group of people, men and women, coming together to volunteer their time to serve their community. They get a community and family that breeds in a service. That's what you get when you're doing volunteer EMS or even FD, right? So that's the fifth benefit of volunteer EMS. If you stumbled across this video right now and you were getting ready for EMR or EMT school, advanced EMT, paramedic school, I have a product down below. It's called my Video Vault. What it does, it prepares students for school, helps you in school, and helps you pass a national registry at every level. I give all my students lifetime access. And it's exactly what I give to all my students. You get down below. It's 420 videos of content plus a community group to ask me questions along the way. I will see you down below there and I will catch you back here on the channel. Let's go.